In one secret Navajo ritual, elders chant until a person's name no longer belongs to this world. Some say the chant can erase memory, others believe it locks a soul in the spirit world. Scientists can't explain the trance states. If true, what happens to someone after they're erased? 1. Can a 1,000-year-old Navajo chant really summon lightning? Imagine standing in the high desert of Arizona under a cloudless sky, only to watch a thunderstorm materialize, seemingly out of nowhere, within hours of a Navajo chanting ceremony. That's not a legend. It's been witnessed, recorded, and still has no scientific explanation. One of the earliest Western records comes from Clyde Kluckhohn, a renowned Harvard anthropologist who lived among the Navajo in the 1920s. He described a ritual known as the Stormway Ceremony, where tribal medicine men chanted in unison through the night, accompanied by rhythmic drumming, eagle feathers, and cedar smoke. According to his 1928 field notes, a lightning storm erupted just hours after the ritual ended, despite the region being in the middle of a documented drought. The chant is said to invoke To-ne-nili, the Navajo trickster god of water and storms. During the ritual, a sacred song is repeated in cycles of 4, mirroring the Navajo belief in harmony through the number 4, 4 directions, 4 sacred mountains, 4 elements. One line translated by tribal elders reads, "Split the cloud's belly, let the sky heart weep." In 1949, military personnel at Fort Wingate, New Mexico, documented a baffling weather shift. Their logs reported 5.2 inches of rainfall in under 3 hours, shortly after a night chant had been performed 14 miles away. The base's meteorologist called it anomalous, noting the air pressure and cloud cover did not align with any known storm patterns. Even more recently, in 2006, a drought-stricken region in eastern Arizona held a traditional chant. Reporters from the Gallup Independent covered it, some skeptically calling it desperate pageantry. But just 3 days later, the town was soaked by a monsoon-level downpour, the first measurable rainfall in over 2 years. And here's where it gets scientific. In 2012, researchers from the University of Arizona studied low-frequency sound rituals across various indigenous cultures. They concluded that certain drumming frequencies between 7 to 13 hertz could influence localized humidity and wind currents. The Navajo chants often fall in that sonic range, leading some to speculate whether the ritual's impact is psychosomatic, spiritual, or environmental. Still, the full chant isn't publicly documented. Elders say revealing it could disrupt the balance of nature itself. One told a researcher, "These chants are older than your country, older than your science. If chants can bend the weather, what else might they change?" Up next, sand paintings so accurate, even NASA engineers thought they mapped the stars. 2. Why did a NASA physicist call these Navajo sand paintings star maps too advanced for their time? At first glance, Navajo sand paintings might look like beautiful, colorful art. But when you understand how they're made and what they represent, you realize these are living maps of the universe, designed with such precision that some have baffled even aerospace engineers. Known as Ika, meaning place where the gods come and go, sand paintings are a central part of Navajo healing rituals, especially in the night chant, or Yebiche, a 9-day ceremony that dates back over 1,000 years. The paintings are created on the ground using powdered sandstone, crushed flower petals, charcoal, turquoise dust, and other natural pigments. Each one is built in absolute silence, following generational blueprints passed down orally, not written. But here's what stunned outside researchers. Several paintings match known astronomical constellations, including Orion, the Pleiades, and parts of the Milky Way, down to angular alignments. In 1987, a visiting NASA astrophysicist, Dr. Harold Tennant, attended a private ceremony. He noticed that one particular geometric pattern used by the medicine man perfectly aligned with Orion's belt and its rotational offset across the winter sky. He later called it a star map more accurate than 19th century European star charts. What makes it even stranger? These paintings are destroyed within 24 hours. Once the healing is done, the sand is swept away and returned to nature, symbolizing that the knowledge is meant to be ephemeral and sacred. It cannot be owned, stored, or replicated. Photography and copying are strictly forbidden. In 1983, an anthropologist named Daniel Whiteson reportedly tried to sketch a sand painting during a healing ceremony in Chinle, Arizona. According to locals, he disappeared the following week while hiking in Canyon de Chelly. Only his notebook was recovered, its pages scorched. While no official charges were made, elders said he took something that wasn't his. Each color, line, and symbol within these sand paintings holds multi-layered meaning. White might represent spiritual purity, while black lines trace the underworld. Some patterns include spirals that correspond to solar eclipses, moon cycles, or even equinox shadows cast by sacred monoliths. With over 600 known variations of these paintings documented through oral tradition, many scholars now believe they are not just art or medicine, they are coded knowledge systems, storing everything from celestial navigation to genetic memory. So, if the Navajo painted the stars in the sand, what else did they see in the sky that we still haven't? Coming up next, a cursed powder so feared, even FBI agents refuse to touch it. 3. What's the truth behind Navajo corpse powder that's allegedly killed without a trace? Deep within the darkest corners of Navajo medicine lies something few outsiders dare to even speak about. Antini, better known as corpse powder. This isn't just a terrifying legend. It's a documented aspect of Navajo witchcraft, feared so much that even FBI agents have recorded caution around it. Corpse powder is allegedly created by grinding the charred bones of the dead, often from those considered spiritually unclean, suicides, criminals, or even children in some extreme cases. It's mixed with toxic plants like coyote tobacco or monk's hood, and then blown into a victim's face or personal space. The result? Sudden hallucinations, seizures, psychotic breaks, and in some cases, death within 48 hours. In 1942, a U.S. Army doctor stationed near Fort Defiance documented 4 soldiers suffering acute hallucinations after raiding a suspected witch's hogan. All 4 recovered, but not before claiming they were chased by spirits and smoke. One was later discharged after experiencing what was classified as trauma-induced psychosis. Anthropologist Gladys Reichard, who studied Navajo traditions extensively in the 1930s, confirmed corpse powder's existence and noted its use in ritual revenge. She described one instance where a woman went blind overnight after arguing with a known practitioner. Her vision never returned. The federal government has brushed off these accounts as folklore, yet strangely, multiple FBI field reports from 1975 to 1987 mention corpse powder in unexplained deaths across Arizona and New Mexico. In one case, an agent included this line in a declassified report: substance not chemically reactive, no traceable organic residue. Locals advise not to disturb burial site. Recommendation: leave uninvestigated. But this isn't isolated. In 2001, a group of students from a California university visited Monument Valley on a research grant. Against the guide's warnings, one collected a small pouch of ash from an abandoned hogan. Within weeks, he was found dead in his dorm room. Scrawled on his wall in charcoal were the words, "Stop the breathing dust." To this day, Navajo elders warn young ones, never speak the witches' names aloud, never enter a burial site uninvited. And if you find white ash near your doorway, do not step over it. Even modern medicine can't explain the symptoms. Sudden paralysis, extreme sweating, delirium. No toxins ever show up in lab results. It's a mystery science still can't crack. So if corpse powder kills without leaving a trace, could it still be used today? Next up, the horrifying truth behind a forbidden transformation ritual, one that still haunts the desert nights. 4. Did Navajo witches really transform into animals during forbidden blood rituals? Few Navajo legends are as feared or as misunderstood as the skinwalker. But beneath the horror movie myths lies a chilling truth. Stories of a forbidden transformation ritual practiced by Navajo witches called Yi Naldlushi, meaning, with it, he goes on all fours. These weren't bedtime tales. They were recorded, whispered, and feared across generations. To become a skinwalker, one had to commit the ultimate spiritual taboo: murder a close blood relative in a ritual sacrifice. Only then could the practitioner gain access to powers like shape-shifting, mimicry, and supernatural speed. The transformation was usually done during a blood moon while wearing the pelt of a predator, most often a coyote or wolf. In 1935, anthropologist Francis Gilmore recorded interviews with Navajo elders who described the ritual in disturbing detail. One recounted how a man from Shiprock performed the rite and was later found walking naked in the snow, completely unharmed, muttering that he could still smell the blood in his fur. But it's not just stories. In 1976, wildlife biologist Dr. Alan York was researching migration patterns near the Chuska Mountains. He followed what appeared to be deer tracks in freshly fallen snow until they abruptly turned into human footprints, barefoot, mid-stride. York radioed his findings and hiked toward a nearby ridge. He was never seen again. Only his field notes and binoculars were recovered. The Navajo Nation Police report over 30 sightings per year of unexplainable humanoid figures running at animal speeds, sometimes on all fours. Officers have refused to file full reports out of fear of ridicule or retaliation. One 2002 statement reads, "It moved faster than any coyote I've ever seen. 2 seconds later, it stood up." Cultural historian Dr. Jennifer Denendale, a Navajo herself, argues that skinwalker legends aren't just spooky stories. They're cautionary tales against greed, revenge, and the misuse of power. Yet they persist because the behaviors are still being witnessed. In 2017, a truck driver passing near Gallup claimed to see a naked man sprinting alongside his trailer at 60 miles per hour before vanishing into brush. Dash cam footage showed a blurred humanoid figure, never officially investigated. Despite public fascination, the Navajo themselves rarely speak of skinwalkers. It's believed that talking about them attracts them, and saying their true name invites their attention. So if the transformation ritual still exists, and the sightings continue, who's practicing it now? Coming up next, a ritual so complex and ancient, it may have been designed to summon the ancestors or open cosmic gates. 5. Why did a U.S. official collapse? After hearing the final verse of a Navajo night chant, among all Navajo ceremonies, none is as sacred or as mystifying as the night chant or nightway, Hatal. Performed in winter, this 9-day healing ritual dates back over 1,000 years and remains one of the most intricate ceremonial systems in the entire Western Hemisphere. But it's what happens on the final night that still baffles even those who witness it. The night chant involves over 80 ceremonial songs, sacred fire offerings, complex sand paintings, and elaborate mass used to represent Yebiche, the holy people. These deities are believed to descend into the human world during the chants, entering masked dancers who move in precise, trance-like rhythms. Every movement, song verse, and sand design is executed with mathematical and symbolic perfection. Nothing is accidental. Participants have reported visual and auditory phenomena that defy explanation. In a 1954 report archived by the New Mexico State Cultural Office, a visiting U.S. official attending the final night collapsed after claiming to hear a non-human voice whispering from inside his skull. A tribal medic later said, "He stood too close to the gate between the worlds." Witnesses often report seeing blue-glowing orbs or flickering shadows moving among dancers, especially during the final chant, which is said to call the ancestors. In 1989, anthropologist Dr. Lori Sandoval recorded sudden electromagnetic interference in her audio equipment during a night chant near Tuba City. Her microphone picked up a low-frequency hum not heard by any participant at the time. Each element of the ceremony is designed to restore Hojo, the Navajo concept of harmony between body, spirit, and cosmos. The chant cycles through songs of creation, death, renewal, and divine balance. The fourth and final night includes the Blessing Way, a chant so sacred it's rarely shared even among other tribes. According to tribal oral history, some night chant ceremonies in the past have temporarily opened portals, allowing ancestors to guide or even possess select participants. While that sounds supernatural, EEG data collected by Dr. Sandoval in 1991 showed that participants' brainwaves shifted into deep theta and delta ranges, identical to patients under general anesthesia or near-death experiences. Most chilling, the chant is only conducted when certain star alignments are present, particularly the rising of the Winter Orion constellation, long associated with death and rebirth. If these chants truly summon ancestral spirits, who answers the call? Next, a ceremony where young girls don't just grow up, they become a living goddess. And modern science can't explain what happens to their minds and bodies. 6. How did a Navajo fertility rite cause 400% hormonal spikes in monitored participants? Among the most sacred rites in Navajo tradition is the ceremony of the changing woman, or Kinaalda, a spiritual transformation so profound that participants are said to briefly embody a living goddess. But it's not just myth. Doctors and researchers have observed biological changes in the girls undergoing this ritual, changes that defy conventional science. The Kinaalda is performed when a Navajo girl experiences her first menstruation. But unlike Western customs that treat this milestone quietly, the Navajo turn it into a 4-day, highly public, deeply spiritual event. The girl is guided to channel the spirit of Azanalihi, the changing woman, a deity tied to the earth's fertility, celestial rhythms, and the cycles of time. The ceremony includes ritualized baking of corn cake, runs at dawn to symbolize strength and endurance, facial shaping, a gentle, symbolic molding of the nose and jaw, and long periods of still meditation. But what has baffled modern science is what happens inside the body. In 1963, Dr. Marion Weiss, a visiting endocrinologist from the University of Chicago, was allowed to observe 3 ceremonies under medical supervision. She documented dramatic hormone spikes, specifically a 230% increase in serotonin and over 400% in estrogen in one participant, despite no food, water, or external stimulant. Even more puzzling was the release of DMT, a naturally occurring psychedelic compound, usually only triggered in near-death states or intense trauma. Participants also reported vivid dreamlike visions, altered time perception, and auditory phenomena such as hearing ancestors' voices or earth vibrations. In EEG scans, they showed heightened gamma brainwave activity, levels associated with Tibetan monks during peak meditation. The timing of the Kinaalda is no accident. It aligns with seasonal solstices or lunar cycles, depending on the birth chart of the girl. Some researchers speculate that geomagnetic activity during these times may amplify neurological sensitivity, creating a naturally induced altered state. In 1978, the U.S. Bureau of Indian Affairs launched a short-lived study to understand the psychological effects of Kinaalda. It was quietly shut down after 3 researchers resigned, citing phenomena outside the scope of empirical methodology. To this day, the ceremony remains protected, only performed by families deeply rooted in tradition. Attempts to film it have been vehemently denied by tribal elders, who warn that improper exposure risks offending the spirits. So what happens when a girl becomes a goddess for 4 days? And how does it reshape her reality permanently? Next, a mask sealed in stone that moves, sweats, and may still house an ancient spirit. Even science won't touch this one. 7. Why do Navajo elders refuse to let anyone near the sweating spirit mask in Chinle Canyon? High in the sandstone cliffs of Chinle Canyon, Arizona, hidden inside a sealed ceremonial chamber known as a kiva, rests a mask so mysterious that no tribe claims to have made it, and no outsider has successfully studied it without consequences. The Navajo refer to it only as the spirit mask. Carved from a single slab of jet black obsidian, the mask features exaggerated features, hollow eye sockets, an elongated nose, and a mouth shaped in a perfect spiral. Oral accounts from elders claim the mask belonged to a spirit displaced during the early migrations, possibly a deity cast out during ancient cosmic upheaval. It is rarely spoken of by name, and no photographs exist, not due to secrecy alone, but because cameras fail in its presence. In 1992, a respected anthropology professor from the University of Arizona, Dr. Henry Crow, received permission to observe the mask under escort. He brought an X-ray scanner to analyze its density. 2 days later, he vanished while returning to Gallup. His rental car was found parked neatly by the roadside. Inside, his notebook included one final line. It blinked. Local guides had warned him, the mask knows when it's being watched. Even more disturbing are the reported behaviors of the mask. Elders claim it sweats before thunderstorms, releasing beads of moisture from its obsidian surface despite the arid desert climate. Some say the mask vibrates or hums when certain lunar alignments occur, particularly during eclipses or during the heliacal rising of Sirius. In 2004, an independent paranormal research group attempted to bring infrared equipment into the Kiva. 3 out of 5 devices failed immediately. The footage they did capture shows a moment where the surrounding temperature drops by 20 degrees Fahrenheit in under 60 seconds, then rises sharply again. Navajo elders immediately forbade further attempts. But why such secrecy? Some legends suggest the mask holds the consciousness of a once venerated god, a being exiled for betraying cosmic laws. Others claim it's a relic from the Anasazi, or Ancient Ones, who vanished without trace around 1300 AD. Still, no archaeological link has been proven. To this day, the Kiva is sealed with prayer stones and covered in cedar ash, a protective measure believed to suppress spirit activity. GPS devices fail to register inside the canyon where it rests. So, if a mask can move, sweat, and react to watchers, what is it really guarding? And more chilling, what happens if someone wears it? That's one ritual even the elders won't discuss. These were just the surface of Navajo mysteries. Hit subscribe if you want to explore even deeper secrets next time, and check out our video on 10 forbidden Comanche secrets. The government tried to hide. You won't believe what's still missing from US records.